He's the smoothest rapper turned actor in the game, but LL Cool J didn't always play it cool. Behind the scenes, he's had some serious beefs, some lyrical, some personal, and one that turned into a full-blown fistfight on a Hollywood movie set.
We were doing the scene, I was being aggressive when I was like, yo, but this is character to character.
From pioneers who felt disrespected to rising stars who dared to test him, LL has clashed with some of the biggest names in the business. So what happens when rap royalty doesn't take disrespect lightly?
You know, I've never shied away from trying to snap somebody's head off.
These are 7 artists LL Cool J hated the most. Starting with number 7, MC Hammer. MC Hammer wasn't just a rapper, he was a cultural phenomenon. His blend of dance and pop rap earned him major brand deals, sold out tours and awards.
And great dancing and great musicianship. And the winner is MC Hammer.
But while fans loved the flashy suits and choreography, insiders say LL Cool J wasn't impressed. Tensions rose when Hammer casually mentioned LL's name in his 1988 track, Let's Get It Started. It wasn't a full-on diss, but LL took it personally. By 1990, LL clapped back on To the Break of Dawn, ruthlessly mocking Hammer's polished image and crossover success. To LL, the glitter and endorsements made Hammer look soft. LL stood for bars, battle-tested credibility, and respect in the streets, everything he believed Hammer lacked. But here's where it gets interesting. Hammer's fans die hard. Many believed he could hold his own against any hardcore rapper if challenged. To them, his pop appeal didn't cancel out his skills.
Redman, LL Cool J went at MC Hammer. MC Hammer returned right back. This is Mama Said Knock You Out, LL Cool J. Jay-Z dissed MC Hammer. MC Hammer came right back at him. This is Jay-Z.
LL later said, I never had any problems personally with Hammer. I lit him up because that's what I was supposed to do. A cold reminder that in LL's world, even a light name drop could bring serious smoke. This wasn't just a clash of artists, it was a clash of ideologies. Hip-hop was evolving, and the Hammer versus LL moment marked a turning point. It spotlighted the growing rift between rap purists and the pop-rap wave. And even though the beef never exploded, LL's diss echoed like a warning shot. Step into the arena with style, but don't forget to bring the substance. Next is number 6, Jimmy Fox. Some rap beefs play out in diss tracks, but this one exploded right in the middle of a Hollywood movie set. Back in 1999, LL Cool J and Jamie Foxx were both cast in Oliver Stone's football epic, Any Given Sunday. It was a physically demanding shoot, packed with high-contact scenes, testosterone, and pressure. According to LL, he was intense on set, fully in character, and bringing that energy into real-life interactions. But Jimmy felt he was too rough, and then he reacted. It wasn't in the script, and it wasn't just a light tap, it was a punch in the face.
We were doing the scene, I was being aggressive when I was like, yo, but this is character to character. And I was rough with him again. He thought it was a good idea to punch me in my face.
What followed was a full-blown physical fight that brought filming to a halt. Jamie later recalled in interviews that they were swinging hard at each other, describing the moment as them clocking each other.
Like, did you clock him in the face?
Yeah, and we were clocking each other. It was
and you
crazy.
didn't pass out or anything?
No, I didn't pass out. I mean,
because I've been punched in the face. It f***ing hurt.
I had a helmet on though. He didn't. Yeah. I had a helmet. Had a knife. But he's a big mother.
Yeah.
But
could he throw a punch?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Big mother.
I can't believe you had a fist fight with him.
Like, my hero. We sitting up there.
You should have videoed that. That would have been a good pay-per-view.
They have it on video.
They do? Oh, my God.
But at the end of it, I said, no matter what, man, you still my hero. And we're going to get through this film. But he was like, it was crazy. But now when we see each other, we laugh and shit. But on that set, everybody was fighting.
He also said he had a helmet on to keep up, but emphasized just how physically overwhelming LL was, calling him a big mother, making it clear the fight was no joke.
It f***ing hurt.
I had a helmet on though. He didn't. Yeah. I had a helmet. Had a knife. But he's a big mother.
Yeah.
It was more than just a scuffle. This was 2 A-listers throwing actual punches in front of the entire cast and crew. Rumors later spread that the altercation had been caught on tape, but Jamie has said that footage will never see the light of day. It's part of the fight's legend now, a clash between 2 Hollywood heavyweights at the height of their careers. Although both men have since moved on and publicly downplayed the incident, the distance remains. They've never worked together again. No films, no collabs, no red carpet moments, Just a moment in time where things got way too real. In a culture where most beefs stay lyrical, this one crossed the line, turning scripted aggression into a real-life showdown fueled by ego, intensity, and pride. It wasn't a performance. It was personal. Which brings us to number 5, Jay-Z. You'd expect two icons like LL Cool J and Jay-Z to be on the same team, and for a while, they were. Jay even paid homage to LL in his early concerts, performing I Need Love as a salute to one of hip-hop's pioneers. But things shifted when Jay-Z took over as president of Def Jam in 2004, and that's where the tension reportedly began. LL was still signed to the label and expected his legendary status to earn him continued support. But instead, he felt sidelined. In a 2007 episode of Behind the Music, LL publicly aired his frustrations. I need my records promoted. I just don't feel like he had the necessary experience to do that job. It's been widely speculated that LL believed Jay was more focused on building up new acts like Rihanna and Nayo, artists who were skyrocketing at the time, while neglecting veterans like himself. But here's the twist. In more recent interviews, when asked where the problem between them started, LL simply says he doesn't know.
You know what I'm saying? Like I wasn't like, so yes, did I run out of rhymes? Was I finished rapping? Absolutely.
And here's what makes this rift so complicated. They weren't just label mates, they were peers. Jay once looked up to LL, but somewhere along the way, the admiration turned to awkward silence. LL saw himself being treated more like a relic than a legend. Then there's the infamous rumor, a 90s parking lot freestyle battle where LL allegedly ran out of rhymes. LL addressed it with a smirk during the Breakfast Club, saying, "If I was really ready to go, do you really want those problems with LL?"
But do you really want to get into some of that kind of shit with LL? Like, you really want that?
Oh, so
like, no, but I'm saying, like, do dudes really want the problems, or is it just a nice story to have?
They reunited briefly in 2021 at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, smiling for the cameras like nothing ever happened. But just a year later, LL made headlines again during his Force tour. "Stop f***ing up your legacy and get on this stage," he said. Fans instantly wondered, was that aimed at Jay?
I'm gonna shout it out to all you rappers trying to play mystery man. Stop f***ing your legacy. Get on this goddamn stage, man.
Whether it was about business, pride, or miscommunication, this wasn't just a minor disagreement. It was a clash between two eras of hip-hop greatness. And the wounds? Still a little too fresh to ignore. Now at number 4, Kool Moe Dee. Long before social media callouts and Twitter fingers, beef in hip-hop was handled the old school way, with battle bars, lyrical wit, and raw mic skills. And one of LL Cool J's earliest, most defining feuds came from a true pioneer of that era, Kool Moe Dee. The roots of their tension ran deeper than just rap bravado. LL, still a teenager at the time, was rapping about making money and owning properties at just 18. It was aspirational, but Kool Moe Dee didn't see it that way. According to LL, Moe Dee felt he was sending the wrong message to younger artists, glamorizing wealth over the culture's roots.
Well, I said on the record, I said I'm only 18 making more than your pops, and he felt offended by that, making more than your pops. And he was offended because he thought it was the wrong message.
That frustration spilled onto wax in 1987 with Moe Dee's track, How You Like Me Now. The song didn't name LL directly, but it didn't have to. Everybody knew who it was aimed at. The album cover itself had LL's signature red Kangol hat crushed under a Jeep tire. It was a visual shot fired. LL didn't stay silent. He clapped back on Jack the Ripper, and again in 1990 with the now legendary To the Break of Dawn. On that track, LL went straight for Moe Dee's credibility, calling him outdated and accusing him of clinging to a spotlight that had already moved on. This wasn't just two rappers trading jabs. It was a generational clash between old school foundation and new school ambition. And even though both later acknowledged a level of respect for each other, that battle set a template for every lyrical war that came after. Which brings us to number 3, Ice-T. Back in the late 80s, Ice-T and LL Cool J were climbing the ranks of hip-hop, but on completely different paths. Ice-T was raw and street-focused, bringing gritty realism to the mic and pushing the boundaries of gangster rap. LL, on the other hand, was polished, high-energy, and unapologetically braggadocious, grabbing mainstream attention with his charisma and crossover hits. Their styles clashed hard, and so did their philosophies about what hip-hop should be. Ice-T didn't like the flashy, ego-driven image LL was putting out, and that's what sparked the tension.
I started it. And, LL was, I'm the baddest, I'm the greatest, I'm this, I'm that. Okay.
In 1988, Ice-T dropped I'm Your Pusher. It wasn't a direct diss, but it was a clear jab at rappers who promoted materialism and commercial appeal, traits LL had become known for. Fans and critics alike saw it as a subliminal shot at LL. LL, of course, wasn't going to stay silent. On To the Break of Dawn, while his main targets were Kool Moe Dee and MC Hammer, several pointed lines were believed to be aimed at Ice-T. LL took shots at Ice's one-dimensional flow and street-only image, brushing him off as someone stuck in one lane. Despite the cold tension, time worked its magic. Ice-T later revealed that they ran into each other at a convention, shook hands, and agreed there were no hard feelings. It was all business.
We were at a television convention, and I walked up to LL and extended my hand and said, man, me and you have never talked, da-di-da-di-da. Yeah. I want to let you know, like you said, it wasn't personal, it was only business,
And that's the beauty of it. Two legends who came from different schools of thought, proving that hip-hop beefs can evolve into grown man conversations. In the end, it wasn't just about ego. It was about defining hip-hop's identity and finding common ground in the process. Coming in at number 2, Wyclef Jean. Wyclef produced Second Round KO, the venom-laced diss that put Cannabis on the front lines against LL. That alone made LL suspicious of Wyclef's motives. There was no open beef, but LL threw light shade in interviews and freestyles, enough for insiders to notice. Wyclef later explained it wasn't personal, just hip-hop. He said they all looked up to LL, but LL, who values loyalty, wasn't convinced. To him, helping craft a diss track felt like crossing a line. It never escalated, but the cold tension lingered until Big Pun's funeral. There, the two men shook hands and let it go. No drama, just mutual respect between two legends who chose peace. Still, it was one of those moments that left a lasting impression on both sides. LL never publicly slammed Wyclef, but fans could sense the distance. It was a reminder that in hip-hop, even silence can speak volumes when trust is shaken. And finally, we end with a feud that nearly defined an era. Number 1, Cannabis. Imagine being a rising MC and landing a coveted feature on a major LL Cool J track. That was Cannabis in 1997, featured on the Posse cut 4321. For a newcomer, it was a huge opportunity, but things quickly went south. Cannabis delivered a line that seemed harmless. Yo, L, is that a mic on your arm? Let me borrow that. LL, however, took it as a subliminal diss. He told Cannabis to change the line, and he did. But LL didn't edit his own verse, which now included bars aimed at Cannabis. When the track dropped, Cannabis felt set up. Feeling betrayed, he fired back with Second Round KO, a hard-hitting diss that came straight for LL's legacy. Lines like "the greatest rapper of all time died on March 9th" were taken as jabs at LL's GOAT claims, and the track cemented Cannabis as a fearless lyricist, ready to go toe-to-toe with a giant. LL responded with "The Ripper Strikes Back," and the beef exploded. Tracks, interviews, and fan debates followed. LL would later call this his toughest beef ever, because Cannabis wasn't just skilled, he was relentless.
I would say out of all of them, probably Cannabis, because, he was a pain in the ass. Yeah. And I was a little more disconnected, yes. So it made it way more difficult. Yes.
In 2014, nearly 2 decades later, the two squashed it and even shared a stage at Brooklyn's Barclays Center. That moment, filled with mutual respect, reminded fans that even the fiercest battles can end in peace. And for LL, it marked something bigger, proof that even his harshest rivalries didn't define him, they refined him. LL Cool J's name stands tall in the Hip Hop Hall of Fame, not just because of his music, but because of how he handled the storm. Some of these beefs were sparked by ego, others by pride, and a few by misunderstanding. But make no mistake, LL didn't run from the smoke. He walked through it, mic in hand. So, what do you think? Was LL too sensitive? Or was he just too real for the industry? Drop your thoughts in the comments and don't go anywhere, because you won't believe what's next.